Mama, welcome to the Mrs. Mummy PhD podcast. I am your host, Dr. Michelle Gibbs, and this podcast exists to help scholarly mamas like you to achieve your life and academic goals without sacrificing what matters most. Here, we're changing the overwhelm, juggle, struggle narrative around what it means to be a mama on an academic journey to one of empowerment, fulfillment, and purposeful success. So how do we successfully navigate these journeys? Well, first, we need the space to embrace this unique blend. Let's begin by saying yes to creating a life that feels as good on the inside as it looks on the outside, because that's when we truly become purposefully whole. So get ready for the most non-traditional, unconventional, and revolutionary approach to PhD motherhood, because one thing I have learned over my many years of experience on this journey is that if you want something different, you have to do something different. But you must be brave enough to think differently first. So, Mama, are you in? Fabulous. Let's begin. These are our journeys of becoming. Hey, mamas, welcome back. First of all, I cannot believe it is almost the end of 2024. Doesn't compute in my brain. Cannot believe it. And recently my husband was telling me about, because you hear all the Christmas music on the radio and everything. And we were listening to All I Want for Christmas Is by Mariah Carey. And there was an interesting statistic about how she still makes loads of money off of that soundtrack every single year because so many radio stations play it. And every time it's played, obviously she gets royalties from that. And I just found that really mind-boggling. And it kind of reminded me of how important it is to invest in legacy. And that's what she's created with that song. For many, many years to come, probably we'll be hearing that song played every year at Christmas. And yeah, that's what she's done. However, one of the other things I came across this week in between listening to lots of Christmas tunes was I saw a reel that really provoked really deep thought for me. And it's really what led me to record this particular episode. And in the reel, the researcher was talking about how they get the whole you're more than your PhD thing, but they're still laser focused on publications, citations, and grants because that's how you're measured in academia. And you know what? That really broke my heart a little. It really did. And I know it may seem unconventional coming from somebody who's literally spent over 2 decades pursuing multiple degrees and has achieved academic success in those pursuits. But I need to share something really important with you because after watching that reel, it really stimulated lots of thought for me. This is something that took me years to understand, and honestly, something that I wish someone had told me sooner, told me earlier. Late teens, early 20s, even late 20s, it would have been nice for someone to have said, think about your definition of success. What does success mean to you? Just, hand me a branch and just let me know to kind of think outside the box a little bit. I wish I'd had that, right? And I didn't. And I was so gung-ho on all these external metrics and the overwork and the overwhelm and the pushing at all costs. And, nothing like experience to teach us and give us wisdom. And I'm so grateful to have had that experience that now I can share with you if you are feeling that way, if you are stuck in that cycle of overwork, overwhelm, perfectionism, just, doing the most, and to really challenge that perspective of what does success mean to you? Have you even given that any thought? Or are you just following what, everybody else has dictated for you is success in life? And thank goodness, I'm so grateful that now I can see that success is purposeful. Success is not accidental. It's not externally defined, but it is very intentional. It is very much an internal metric, not an external one. And so, I kind of wish that I'd had that insight earlier, but wisdom comes with age. I am now in my 40s and I can see how much growth I've had in this area of my life. And I'm so proud of where it's led me to. But anyway, I digress. Let's get back to the episode. So here it is. Here's the truth. That mindset of laser focus and all the external success metrics is a one-way ticket to burnout. It is a one-way ticket to burnout, to missing the moments that truly matter, to waking up one day and wondering, where has the time all gone, right? And interestingly enough, at church, I was listening to a testimony of someone who was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer after living a very adventurous life, very outgoing lifestyle. And that really kind of halted his lifestyle and caused him to really reflect on what mattered and what was important to him. And it's a reminder as well of how, just 2 years ago, we lost our dearest friend to cancer very unexpectedly. And he was, went to hospital around this time, just before Christmas, and ended up, within 3 weeks, he passed away from a cancer that he didn't even know he had. And so when you experience this kind of tragedy or loss or illness or some kind of traumatic event, it makes you realize what really, really matters. I've had loads of experiences in my family of losing people to cancer, losing people to car accidents and other things. And it makes you really reflect on what's important in this life. But when you are in the thick of your career and things are going really well, it's so easy to forget those things. It's so easy to focus on those external success metrics. And I really get it. I do get it, because academia conditions us to chase these external markers of success. But let me tell you what I have learned and why my perspective might be a bit different from what you usually hear. Maybe it's age. I don't know. Maybe it's experiencing all the things that I mentioned earlier. Maybe it's watching parents grow older and being less able to do the things that they want to do. Maybe it's seeing people live and reflect on their lives and have so many regrets. Maybe it's seeing friends face unexpected health challenges and losing loved ones too soon. These moments that we go through, they really change us. They make you realize that life is frighteningly short and devastatingly precious. And you know what doesn't flash before your eyes when you're sitting in a hospital waiting room? The impact factor of the journal where your last paper was published, or your publication record, or that prestigious grant that you're chasing. And don't get me wrong, I've pursued and continue to apply for these things too, but I will never let them be my priority in this life. What matters then, what truly, truly matters when you are in those moments, in the hospital, in the middle of a challenge, in a health crisis, whatever, are the relationships that you've nurtured, are the reflections of the life that you've lived, the memories you've created, the love that you've given and received. And so at every Christmas, especially when I was doing my PhD, I continued to make a choice. Instead of working through the holiday break, instead of sneaking in just one more revision between, Christmas gatherings and things, I chose presence. I chose connection. I chose to let my academic work be just that, work. Not my identity, not my worth, just one part of a rich, full life. And yes, I know that this perspective is rare in academia, and yes, it might even feel counterintuitive, but I have never been more certain that this is the path to not just survival, but to truly thriving as a scholar, as a mother, as a human being. So this holiday season, I'm challenging you to redefine success for yourself, to measure it not in citations, but in cuddles with your kids, not in publications, but in quiet moments with your aging parents, not in grants, but in memories that will warm your heart for years to come. Not in the number of conference presentations that you have delivered, but in the legacy that you are creating beyond the walls of academia. Because at the end of the day, no one really wished that they'd spent more time on their thesis and less time on making memories with the people they love. I saw recently that somebody was reflecting on the fact that they'd finished their PhD and now they feel like they've missed out on so much. Their kids have grown in the years that they've been focused on pursuing their PhD and they haven't had time to really connect with them. And now all of a sudden it's like, well, hi, let's reintroduce ourselves. No, because at the end of the day, we want to reach the end of this journey of pursuing our PhDs. You want to get to the end of that, without regret. So how do we actually create space for what matters most during this holiday season? I've recently shared in the last 2 episodes how you can prioritize rest, how you can, really focus on what matters during the holiday season. If you haven't listened to the last 2 episodes, you are absolutely missing out. So head over there, listen to those 2 episodes, and then come back to this one. So here's a powerful truth. Purpose isn't found in endless productivity. It's found in the moments when we are fully present, fully engaged, fully alive. So this Christmas, I want you to try something pretty radical. Measure your days not by tasks completed, but by the connections that you have deepened in some way. Keep a different kind of journal this holiday season. Instead of tracking research progress and how many days you've got to the next deadline and all that, track moments of joy. Write down the conversations that moved you and shifted your thinking in some other way. The hugs that have sustained you. The quiet moments that have filled your cup. And here's perhaps the most important tip of all. Give yourself permission to really enjoy it. To really enjoy it. Let go of the guilt that says you should be working. Release the pressure to be productive. Your work will be there. Come January, believe me, it will still be there. I promise you that. But these precious moments with your loved ones, they're fleeting. They're now. It's so funny that as I was preparing to record this episode, I got a call from my dad to tell me that he'd been in a car accident. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. He's okay. Everybody's okay. But it just reminds you of how fleeting this life really is. So as you are navigating your PhD with kids in tow, this Christmas and beyond, of course, because this is not just a message for Christmas. I know I've called it All I Want for Christmas Is, but think about what you really want for Christmas and let that be a priority throughout the year. Because remember, you're not just raising children, you're turning moments into memories. You're not just pursuing a PhD, you're pursuing a life worth living. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is to close that laptop, open up your arms, and let yourself be fully present in the messy, the unpredictable, the imperfect, the beautiful moments that make this life that you're living now, this scholarly mama life, a well-lived one. So this Christmas, let's measure success differently. Let's count hugs instead of citations. Let's value presence over productivity. Let's choose love over publications, because in the end, that's what truly, truly matters. And until next time, I am reminding you that you are doing an amazing job. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. And that's okay. In fact, it's more than okay to put people before your PhD. Of course, the PhD will come You'll reach the end. You'll become doctor. You will graduate. In no time, this will all be over. This journey of becoming will be over. And you want to make sure that when you look back at it and reflect on it, it's not just full of regrets. So as for me and my house, all we want for Christmas is more of the same, more joy, more love, more time together to build memories and to be present. And that's what we're cultivating. That's where our energy is. That's what we're focused on. All the things that matter. Mama, oh my goodness, it will soon be the end of 2024 when I speak to you again. But I want to take this opportunity to wish you the most amazing Christmas. If you celebrate, of course. And if you don't, I wish you the most amazing week. I also recognize that Christmas can trigger feelings of grief and sadness for some and feelings of loneliness and isolation. And if that is you, Mama, please, my DMs are still open. Please feel free to message me and know that you will be in my thoughts. You will be in my thoughts this Christmas. Until next time, Mama, sending you lots of love and lots of gratitude. Merry Christmas from our family to yours. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to the Mrs. Mummy PhD podcast. I hope you've enjoyed the episode, and if you did and you want in on this movement, please head over to mrsmummyphd.com or scholarlymamas.com. If you want to do your PhD well without sacrificing yourself or those you love dearest, then you need your hands on my free training called the PhD with Purpose Webinar. When you join us inside Scholarly Mamas Explore, you'll get access to this free training and so much more. Remember, Mama, these are our journeys of becoming.